Welcome to the Caring Matters podcast. I'm here today with Teepa Snow. Teepa is an occupational therapist from North Carolina, a leading expert on dementia and how to care for folks with dementia in the nation. And she travels the nation talking to groups. And today she's at Xavier University, and they're presenting her all day and all day tomorrow and tonight for a community presentation that I'll be attending. Once again, I heard you last year talk to the community. And I just want to say that, first of all, you're a wonderful presenter. It's entertaining as well as so informational.
Well, you know, here's the interesting thing. Your brain retains information better if you're having a good time than if you're not.
Oh, wow.
So it's important to me that caregivers hold on to what I share with them.
Right.
And it's going to work better if you're having a good time because it releases hormones in your brain, and your brain is able to better retain information.
Wow. Important. Well,
Important,
you do a great job with that. Well, the thing that I remember about your presentation last year is you've got some slides that literally show the progression of some of the diseases that that cause dementia,
yes,
including Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
And what was so startling to me, and I've been in the field of gerontology for a long time, but I don't believe I'd ever seen that. And so what you were talking about is, here's the picture and how that affects behaviors.
Yeah.
So if you'll talk to us a little bit about that, because I think one of the frustrations for family caregivers or for the people who are working in institutions,
facilities, yeah.
is that they're
she's doing this on purpose. She knows what she's doing. She's just stubborn. See, 5 minutes ago she asked me, where is my walker? And now she tries to get up and walk without it. She just does this on purpose. And the hard part for us to recognize is dementia. All forms of dementia have two causes. Chemical and structural changes cause the behaviors. When it's chemical, when the primary thing that's happening is a chemical change, that means instant to instant the brain is varying because your chemistry changes second to second. And that's why I can now think of the word, and then in the thing you put in the, to make it all go together. You know what I mean. Because as the day wears on, it is very common for my chemistry to wear down. I give up, I run out. And what that means for many people as the day wears on is I look worse and worse and worse. And so I look great in the morning when people come and visit. And then by afternoon, when the caregiver is there by themselves, it's like, oh my God, she is so much worse. What's going on? Why does she do this? Well, she does it because she used everything up on the visit, including taking them to the doctors, family coming in from out of town, going for their driver's license renewal, and taking them to a lawyer. And so it looks to you like they're doing this on purpose. See, she can do this when she wants. No, she can do it when the chemistry's just right. And when you go to do important things, guess what happens to your chemistry? It gets all excited. But when I use it all up, guess what I look like afterwards? I've got to where's John? And you're like, Mommy's dead. What are you talking about? Because not only have I got my regular chemistry, I dropped because I used it all up, and so I crash and burn. And so you can have really bad episodes late in the day after a wonderful time out. And from a caregiver's perspective, it feels like, well, they're doing this on purpose. See, they do. And it's like, no, that's not on purpose. That's the reality of the disease. So that's the chemistry, that fluctuation from morning to night, from person to person. It's not me controlling, it's not me being manipulative. And it can feel like it, but it isn't. It's brain failure, but it's the chemical part.
Right.
The other part, the pictures that I had came out of Alabama, worked on by Richard Powers and his group. And it allows us to look at brains that people donated so we could learn. And what we see is a normal brain and a brain with Alzheimer's. And literally your brain shrinks down to, you have 3 parts, it goes down to 1/3. And it's not just in one area. It actually causes your entire brain by the end of the disease to be involved in this. And that's why I say it's brain failure. And in this case, the structures actually shrivel up and shrink. Your brain cells are literally shriveling up, shrinking and dying. And they get sick before they die. And while they're sick, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But once they die, they don't work. But then the disease spreads to another part. And so it's spreading through the brain. And so what we're seeing is a gradual loss of abilities. But for everything they lose, there are things that still work. Because I said they lose 2/3, they've got 1/3. And as a caregiver, that's critical information, because what we need to realize is we can only use what they have left. I need to acknowledge, I need to grieve the loss. That's part of being a caregiver and caring about someone, is grieving the loss. That I can't let that grief overwhelm my caregiving. And if I'm grieving so much that I can't let it go, I need a timeout. I need to take a break as a caregiver so I can be there for the long haul. Because otherwise I wear myself out, and I'm not going to change the disease. I can also expect too much and be frustrated, expect too little and not give you a chance. So the more I understand about what you've got and what you don't have and how to use what you have, some of it's good and some of it I wish you didn't keep, but I don't get to pick that. So let's talk about language. As an example, I will lose my nouns, but I keep the rhythm of speech. I will lose vocabulary, but I will retain certain understandings of words. So let's say the word roll. There's lots of definitions of roll. And so it could be a piece of bread, it could be an action you take with your body, it could be a place you sleep when you don't have a bed, a bedroll. It could be a list of names, a job you do, a role. In the morning, the caregiver comes in and said, "Mom, roll over and sit up on the side of the bed." Mom heard piece of bread on the side of the bed. And Mom's reaction to that is going to be, "What are you talking about? I don't understand what you want me to do." And if we just talk at her, roll over, piece of bread, well, it still didn't make any sense to that person. And that's where learning as a caregiver, there are 5 ways that human beings get information in. What you see, what you hear, what you feel or move with, what you smell and what you taste. And as a caregiver, these are my 3 primary systems of communication: what I show, what I tell, and how I touch. Once I know that, and know that people with dementia do best with what they see first, and then and only then they hear, but they don't always comprehend. So they'll hear the rhythm of my voice, they'll hear volume, they'll hear my emotion, but they won't always get all the words. And then how I touch matters. Okay? Then what I want to do is do this. "Hey, Mom, roll to me." Because by doing the motion first, I preset your visual system with a roll. It then told the auditory system, roll. And all of a sudden your brain was able to hook those 2 things together and get, oh, okay. And you sit right up on the top of it.
And what begins your day is a more pleasant
start. Now, and when I'm not frustrated, what happens to my voice? I stay chilled out. When I stay chilled out, you're chilled out.
Right.
Come with me. Because that's all the rhythm, but not the specifics.
Wow.
Now, when it comes to vision, I'm not saying there isn't a change. There's a change in all 5. There is a change in vision. Now, here's the real important part of vision. Vision has width, breadth, and it has focus. This is peripheral awareness. How much of the edge are you aware of? That's primarily to get you to change your focus. So the point of peripheral vision is to protect you. So when you hear, you look and see what it was. So it's just sort of getting you to change. The middle is where you get all the good stuff. So when someone gets dementia as their brain is dying, they'll lose the peripheral but keep the center. Now what that means is I develop, by mid-stage, I've got binocular vision. I can only pay attention to this much of my world. This becomes my world. So if you're sitting over there and I say, "Well, where is she?" Now, your gut reaction without thinking is to do what as I'm doing this?
"Mom, she's right next to you."
Well, what is she doing there? Where are you? Where did you go?
"Mom, I'm right here."
Oh, Now, an automatic behavior on your part when I didn't get what you said because I can't localize sound as well as I can't see to this side. You took the 3rd way we communicate and you did that. You did. You touched me out of nowhere, and this is what it felt like to me. It came out of nowhere. So it was real important that you get up out of that chair, swing around so you're in my visual field, and then say, "You're looking for me. I'm right here." But appear out there where I can see you, rather than expect me to compensate for all the changes in my brain, because frankly I can't do it.
So as you're talking, all I can think of is how important information is for the caregiver, so that they're not expecting something other than this person can provide.
Yeah, because I'm going to get blamed for misbehaving when all it was my inability to take in data in the way that you offered it. But if you know that you need to be aware of these three and what my limitations are, then you can use what I have left. I have central field left. I just don't have the edges. You need to know that as my caregiver.
Right. This is so important, this information, Teepa.
And the problem is that's not the education you get when you get the label of caregiver, whether you're a professional or a family member.
Right.
How hard is it to care for somebody with dementia? I mean, they don't even know what's going on. And that's the very reason it's so hard.
Right. And this is the person you love.
Absolutely.
A lot of times the person who brought you into the world, who you have
or somebody who chose to live a life with.
Yeah.
I mean, or somebody that matters a lot to you. Or if you're a professional, the reason you go into this is because you want to give your heart and your hand in service. And it's a horrible way to interact without realizing for 90% of the time we're the ones that started.
So it's so important to get information. Is there a website or something, as people are watching this, and this is only a 10-minute thing, so it's just, you know.
I do have a website that might be helpful. It's teepasnow.com, just my name, Teepa, snow, SNOW.com, no space. And I have little videos on there and information, ideas about where I'll be, links to other resources and sites, just to help.
Okay. That's a great start, and thank you so much for sharing this, because I feel like for the person who's nonstop in this position and to not have this kind of information,
it's
and
not
to
fair.
Yeah, it isn't.
It's not fair to the person with dementia. It's really not fair to caregivers, because we'll wear you out before this is over, and you feel so bad and so guilty so many times and so frustrated. I mean, she knows what she's doing, but she doesn't, and you don't. And that's the important thing to realize, is that there's a lot to be learned. Unfortunately, going to traditional sources won't always give it to you.
Right.
So you're going to have to go some other places, and that's what hopefully this is going to help with.
Yeah, so important. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Thank
My
you
pleasure.
so much. So thank you to Teepa Snow, and we'll list that website for you on this page, so you'll see that. And I also want to thank our sponsors, who are also listed on this page, because we wouldn't be doing this without them. So thank you very much. I'm Liz Tassone. Again, I want to thank Teepa Snow.
My
Wonderful.
pleasure.
And thank you for caring so much about your loved ones. We're happy to support you in that. And always remember that caring matters.